Thank you very much. For those of you who are attending our closing ceremony, please be aware that we will be proceeding right away. Please note that simultaneous interpretation is being provided at this moment. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ju-Yeon Cho, and I greet you once again after our opening ceremony. And it is wonderful to see you here all at the closing ceremony of the 15th World Forestry Congress. The Congress that had kicked off a couple of days ago at the beginning of the week is now coming to an end. I'm certain that the Forestry Congress has offered a wonderful platform for people all around the world, also those who are here with us in person, to discuss ways for a better, a greener, and healthier future through forests. And I must say that the 15th World Forestry Congress is being held under unprecedented situations, also very memorable, to say the least. And it has been a whirlwind of a week, and with sessions, plenaries, and subsessions. So just to do a little recap of what has happened over the past few days, now let us look back at the week with memories that we've made over the week. Please direct your attention to the screen for the highlight video.
You must all be very tired.
Agricultural organization. Cheers.
Cheers!
자연재해, 핵과 같은 현 대자연에게 힘을 얻는다.
New York Hello.
Cheers.
Cheers for our health.
I hope you truly enjoyed that small present that we have prepared for you as the highlight video of the past week. I believe that it was a spectacular video, especially having viewed that on the full screen here at this hall. And it was quite emotional to see so many people in person and their passion and dedication to this Congress. So thank you once again, and we truly hope that you had enjoyed the full week with us here in Seoul. Despite some of the difficult times that we had gone through because of the pandemic, I believe it was because of this dedication and the passion for the forestry industry that we could come together for the 15th World Forestry Congress. So with that, thank you once again, and a big round of applause to everyone. Thank you. And with that, before we move on, we have a special surprise today. We have a short proposal by the Turkish delegation for the hosting or the offer of the hosting of the 16th World Forestry Congress. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage two gentlemen from the Turkish delegation.
Değerli katılımcılar, benim ismim Mehmet Koç. Türkiye Orman Genel Müdürü Bekir Karacabey adına sizleri saygıyla selamlıyorum. Kendisi 4 gündür buradaydı ancak ayrılmak durumunda kaldığı için biz buraya sizlerin huzurunuza geldik.
Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, his name is Mehmet Koç. He represents Mr. Bekir Karacabey, the Director General of Forests of Turkey. Mr. Director General was here during the week, but yesterday he had to move to Turkey, so he represents our Director General.
Bu organizasyon için Kore Orman Teşkilatı'na ve FAO'ya teşekkür ediyor, tebriklerimizi sunuyoruz. Bundan sonra yapılacak olan 16. Dünya Ormancılık Kongresi'ne ev sahipliği yapmak istediğimizi buradan sizlere ifade etmek istiyor. Saygılarımı sunuyorum.
We really congratulate the Korean Forestry Service and FAO for this wonderful organization and thank all the participants. And we would like to announce that as Turkish government, represented by GDO Forestry, we would like to announce that we are ready to host the next World Forestry Congress in Turkey.
Teşekkür ediyoruz, saygılar sunuyoruz.
Using this opportunity, we would like to thank again and would like to see all of you and the other distinguished participants with online participation. We would like to see you in Turkey, possibly in Istanbul, and we wish thank you again.
Thank you very much for that offer, and another big round of applause, please. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, so that we can proceed on to the official closing ceremony of the 15th World Forestry Congress. First and foremost, we have the closing remarks from Mr. Ibrahim Thiaw, the Executive Secretary of the UNCCD, on video. So with that, please turn your attention to the screen for the video.
Excellencies, distinguished participants, it is a great pleasure to join you at this closing session of the World Forestry Congress. I'm sorry I cannot be with you today, as I am already in Abidjan, where our COP will be opening in just 3 days. First, I would like to thank the government of the Republic of Korea and the Korea Forest Service for the leadership and for successfully hosting this important meeting. I also want to thank and congratulate my colleagues from FAO and all the participants on the fruitful outcomes of the Congress, as you have indeed taken an important step to protect, sustainably manage, and restore forests under the theme of building a green, healthy, and resilient future with forests. Forests are vital land ecosystems that underpin the existence of people, society, and the planet. They are home to more than 3/4 of the world's species, providing the basic essentials of air, food, and water. They also capture carbon and provide critical habitat for biodiversity. Forests are the last defense for a healthy and resilient future. If we fail forests, we fail ourselves, our future generations. In this context, all of us participating at the 15th World Forestry Congress are standing on the front line, defending our forests, our land, our lives, and our future. Our strong and unified voice will echo throughout the world, and our solidarity for protecting and restoring forests and land will make a real difference. Excellencies, dear friends, there is another critical forum coming up in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, from 9 to 20th of May that will amplify our voices and further reinforce countries' commitments to conserve and regenerate forests and degraded land. The 15th session of the Conference of the Parties, COP15 of the UNCCD, has adopted the theme Land, Life, Legacy, from scarcity to prosperity. It will bring together heads of states and governments, leaders, the private sector, civil society, and other stakeholders from around the world to accelerate progress towards reversing land and forest degradation. Land is the bedrock of a healthy, productive, and prosperous society. According to the just released Global Land Outlook from the UNCCD, about 70% of the land has already been altered by human activities. COP15 is therefore an urgent call to action to turn the tide from land exploitation to land stewardship, from land degradation to land restoration, and from disaster to resilience. All of you are welcome to join in this key moment in the fight against desertification, land degradation, and drought. It will put forward a unified agenda for land restoration, drought resilience, land rights, gender equality, and youth empowerment that offers proven, cost-effective solutions to the interconnected challenges of land degradation, climate change, and biodiversity loss. As we are in the UN Decade for Ecosystem Restoration, this may be the last opportunity for us to manage, protect all types of lands in a sustainable and integrated manner to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Dear colleagues, our voices at the World Forestry Congress will resonate at the UNCCD COP15. We will continue to push for increased ambition to translate land restoration commitment into action on the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Mr. Tiao, the Executive Secretary of the UNCCD, for your message of solidarity. And you also mentioned that if we fail forests, we will fail ourselves. I think that that deeply resonates with us all. Thank you once again, and we wish you the success for the COP15 of UNCCD as well. And now moving on, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Maria Helena Semedo, the Deputy Director General of FAO, will deliver her closing remarks. Please welcome her with a warm round of applause.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are following us in this closing of the 15th World Forest Congress. Your Royal Highness Princess Basma bint Ali, Honorable Minister Byung-am Choi, Excellencies, Ministers, Vice Ministers, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends. The 15th World Forestry Congress has truly put Forests Without Boundaries into practices, bringing together government, indigenous people and local communities, research organizations and academia, civil society organizations and the private sector, including small business. Forest has connected us throughout this week. This Congress was very timely, giving the multiple interconnected and often overlapping challenges we face: the climate crisis, the pandemic, and soaring food prices, which are hitting the poorest the hardest. Today, more than 800 million people still suffer from hunger. And it is clear that there will not be no healthy economy nor recovery on an unhealthy planet. Environmental deterioration continues, and 10 million hectares of forest are lost every year from other land uses, amplifying the impact of climate crisis, biodiversity loss, and risk of emergence of new diseases. But as reconfirmed here in this Congress, forests and trees can play crucial roles in addressing this crisis and at the same time in moving towards sustainable economies. The solution lies in the three interrelated pathways to support economic and environmental recovery. One, halting deforestation and maintaining forests. Second, restoring degraded lands and expanding agroforestry. And third, sustainably using forests and building green value chains. They contribute to transforming agri-food systems to be more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard it very loud and clear this week that it is time for the world to invest in our forests, politically, financially, technically, and technologically. Finance for the three pathways must at least triple by 2030 to meet climate, biodiversity, and land degradation neutrality targets. This includes new investments through climate finance, green recovery programs, and especially a stronger role for the private sector. Restoring and sustainably managing forests and trees call for up-to-date and reliable data for effective and appropriate decision-making, as well as combination of traditional knowledge with modern science. The Congress saw important events such as the launch of the State of the World Forest 2022 and unveiled the results of our remote sensing survey, a complement to the FAO 2020 Global Forest Resource Assessment. The Congress has also been marked by new partnerships, such as the Assuring the Future of Forests with Integrated Risk Management Mechanism, AFFIRM, and the Sustainable and Abundance of Forest Ecosystem Initiative, SAFE, giving a renewed impetus for action. The Seoul Forest Declaration that we just endorsed emphasized that forestry, and forest stakeholders offer major nature-positive solutions to the climate crisis, biodiversity loss, land degradation, hunger, and poverty. Let us convey and promote the key messages from the declaration and keep the momentum from this 15th World Forestry Congress. Excellencies, participants, dear friends, I wish to convey my appreciation to the government of the Republic of Korea, the Korea Forest Service, in particular to Your Excellency, Minister Beng M. Choi, for your leadership and to so superbly hosting the 15th World Forestry Congress co-organized by FAO. You have graciously hosted this Congress, sharing with us your wonderful cultural heritage, from beautiful traditional song, music, inspiring dance, and even some dynamic K-pop and Taekwondo. I would like to thank Your Royal Highness Princess Basmat bint Ali, FAO's Regional Goodwill Ambassador, for her tireless commitment and to active participation in this Congress. We hope that we'll continue to lend your influential voice to support forests and to help carry forward the Congress message and legacy. Thank you. I would like to recognize the great support of the Secretariat who prepared this Congress under the leadership of the Secretary General, Eusin Park, and Associate Secretary General, Peter Ciocca, and their excellent teams. I thank also the chairperson of the advisory committees, Dr. John Parotta and Huan Chang, and committee's members for the valuable input throughout the preparation. Thank you. I am particularly heartened to see many students and young professionals so actively and insightfully contributing to the dialogues and the outcomes of this Congress. You are the decision makers and sharpers of the future. I wish to thank all the participants, all of you, here in this room and connected around the world, for contributing to the very rich and forward-looking discussion to make forest and forestry a solution of the crisis we face. Our gratitude to all FAO colleagues, all the colleagues from the Korean Forest Services for their tireless efforts. Our gratitude to the ones working behind the scene, the interpreters who connected us throughout this week, the communicators, the facilitators. It was indeed a great teamwork through a dream team. Thank you all. Only by working together to conserve, restore, and sustainable use forests can we unlock the power of forests and trees to build a green and healthy future for all. I thank you for all the great contribution, the hard work, and wish you all safe travel home. Thank you, and see you in the next 6 years.
Thank you once again for the great closing remarks, Deputy Director General Semedo. Thank you once again for your remarks. Indeed, she mentioned that we have heard messages loud and clear this week that we must invest in forestry and that we must take action now. But this week we have shown great teamwork once again, so thank you for those closing remarks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Her Royal Highness Princess Basma bint Ali from the Kingdom of Jordan to the stage for her remarks. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Your Honorable Minister, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I would like to thank the government of the Republic of Korea for their generous hospitality and the Food and Agricultural Organization for its meticulous planning and arrangements, but most especially for everyone who has worked behind the scenes, including the interpreters who kept up with our very spirited dialogues. So thank you for ensuring that the 15th World Forestry Congress is a success. Honestly, it's been quite an energetic few days, so much so that if you can kindly indulge me with this thought, I can only equate its similarity to a thriving beehive, where we, the participants, are the hard-working bees that have been foraging nectar and pollen from the far reaches of our home, 146 countries, and have come here in a buzz of activity to the Congress, which is the hive, to assimilate the precious knowledge and experiences into a sweet honey that will sustain and nourish us through the bitter winter. This winter I refer to as the next couple of years. Thus, the declaration of the 15th World Forestry Congress must be put into action and must be put now, so we can truly live to see a bright spring where the blossom of hope can begin to bloom within the next 8 years and ensure a good harvest. A harvest that is a green, healthy, and resilient future, with the forest sector development, by our definition, being the key to nature-based solutions to climate adaptation that have strong mitigation benefits. This task takes transparent collaboration by all stakeholders. And here, I would like to take a moment to highlight a point which Juan Carlos Gentiach, the Technical Advisor Climate Change and Biodiversity, mentioned in Session 5 of the Sub-Theme 6, that is, Indigenous peoples and local communities are not only stakeholders, but rather they are the right holders of these lands and forests. Their voices need to be heard on the global stage, as we have done so today. Along the transparent collaboration between the stakeholders, which include the youth and the women, institutions, sectors, also comes traceability and accountability to ensure social equity as we turn the tide on deforestation and forest degradation to achieve a sustainable future. Included in the aforementioned forests are dryland forests, which are ever so fragile. Yet it has been calculated that these dryland ecosystems supply 60% of the world's food production and contain 50% of the world's livestock and host 27% of the world's forests. Regrettably, they are at major risk of collapse. We cannot indulge ourselves to ponder with the what ifs and how abouts. We must act now. But this cannot happen unless we acknowledge the significant global level relationship of forests to the water, carbon, and energy cycles that directly impact our climate and even our health, as COVID-19 has so bitterly taught us. Hence, we have to focus our efforts on developing circular bioeconomy value chains, which result in climate neutrality. Then again, due to our time constraint, we must scale up. I would like to share a small personal note here. I remember distinctly how His Majesty the late King Hussein of Jordan, who was way ahead of his time, warned us in the late 80s that if we don't change the way we live and focus on sustainable development, he cautioned us that the future wars will be fought over water. But now I think it will be fought over much more than that if we don't take action, which is the most basic human right, for without water, there is no agriculture, nor biodiversity, no life at all. We are on the cusp of such a scenario. So how can we claim to be civilized and modern if we can't even sustainably manage our resources and provide a safe future for the next generation? It is a choice, our choice. So let's make the right choice, and let's make it now. Keeping this in mind as you travel back to your homes, having made new memories, developed new friendships, and ticked off this event from your to-do list. Yes, the 15th World Forestry Congress has ended, but our work has just begun. As I ask each and every one of you to do what it takes to turn the tide. For I pose the same question as I did in the opening session. What kind of world will you be leaving to your own children and grandchildren? Thank you very much, and I wish you all a safe journey home.
Thank you, Your Royal Highness, once again for your kind message and your inspirational speech on the will for international cooperation in forestry. Thank you once again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a closing declaration by the Minister of the Korea Forest Service, marking the end of the 15th World Forestry Congress. Please welcome to the stage with a big round of applause, Honorable Minister Choi Byung-am of the Korea Forest Service with a big round of applause.
존경하는
Honorable heads of states and representatives from international organizations and all participants of the 15th World Forestry Congress, joining us both online and offline. Now it is time for us to conclude the Congress. In 2016, we have won the bid for the Congress, and it has taken us a very long time to prepare for this Congress. At last, we are at this point in time where we conclude this Congress and look forward to meeting again in 6 years. During the last week, we were able to have a meaningful journey under the theme of building a green, healthy, and resilient future with forests. At the 15th World Forestry Congress, we were able to conclude with meaningful outcomes and a Seoul Declaration. Thank you very much to all those here today who have made this outcome possible. Due to COVID-19, we went through various challenges, but thank you very much to Deputy Secretary General Maria Helena Cepeda of FAO and all members of the FAO for enabling us to successfully host this Congress. In addition, I would like to take this opportunity to offer my words of support and warm thanks to all participants from governments, civic societies, and international organizations for sparing no effort in sharing your valuable wisdom and passion with us. Last but not least, thank you very much to the staff at FAO, in particular the organizing committee, for all of your hard work. While viewing the highlight video at the beginning of the closing ceremony, the moments over the past week seemed to pass before my eyes like a panorama. During the last few years, we have had challenges to overcome to prepare for this Congress, but we have been able to enjoy passionate discussions and conclude with the Seoul Forestry Declaration. The Seoul Forestry Declaration emphasizes climate change, the reduction in biodiversity, the loss of land, deforestation, hunger, and poverty. And we believe that these are some of the challenges that we need to deal with through forestry. We have been able to set 6 action plans. First, forest should go beyond political and economic barriers. We should be jointly responsible for forest in managing forestry. Second, in order to restore devastated forests, up until 2030, the International Society has set goals for recovery by increasing our investments by threefold. 3, for sustainable consumption and production, we need to work on preservation and restoration of forestry, as well as sustainable utilization through an innovative green financial system. 4th, the world's oldest material is wood. This is the material that we are most familiar with. We need to utilize wood to reduce carbon in areas of construction and other areas by sustainably producing and consuming wood. 5th, forestry will contribute to the health of human lives. This is something that we have reconfirmed through COVID-19. We need to reduce the negative impact on forestry so that we may prepare for the next pandemic. 6th, we need to leverage science and technology for forestry so that we could have data-based sustainable management of forestry. Along with the Seoul Declaration, we have been able to announce the declaration by the Ministerial Forum for Sustainable Wood, as well as the Youth Foresters Declaration. We hope to share these messages around the world. We hope to expand Korea's contribution to the international community by collaborating with the FAO, and we have launched the comprehensive mechanism with the FAO to manage forestry. And with the UNEP, we have decided to contribute to the UN Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. We will continue to work with UNRDD so that we can create a platform for REDD+ capacity building. Thanks to these action plans, we do hope that we will be able to contribute to the achievement of the Glasgow Declaration on Forest and Land Use, and also lead the way for forest recovery in all countries around the world, including developing countries.
이제 산림
Now, forestry no longer remains at setting the goal at restoration. We hope to achieve sustainable management and coexistence with local communities through systematic management of forestry. This is something that we can all relate to. Along these lines, through the Congress, we have been able to agree on sharing the responsibility of sustainable management among all stakeholders. By achieving this sharing, we do look forward to enhancing the value of forestry around the world and also to secure safety through forestry recovery, and we also believe that it will strengthen our ecosystems. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been able to enjoy abundant results and outcomes. We have also had the participation of ministers and vice ministers, as well as heads of international organizations who are decision makers at this Congress, and it is very meaningful that we have been able to share our understanding with one another. The government of the Republic of Korea and the Korea Service Forestry will continue to contribute to greening the world, and our efforts will not end here at this Congress. We will continue to work with the UN as well as UN member states through close partnership so that we will be able to put into action all of the outcomes from this Congress. The management of forestry beyond borders, the utilization of forestry for peace, cooperation for these goals must start now. We need to make sure that the momentum started at this Congress continues into the future so that we can see actual changes on site. We will all make efforts together for this goal. Now is a time to take action. Now is a time to have tangible results. This cannot be done by any one country alone. We need to make sure that every single one of us here today come together for a better future with forests. This brings us to the end of the 15th World Forestry Congress. Once again, thank you very much to all those who have shared your passion, knowledge, and insights with us throughout the Congress. Thank you very much on behalf of the Korean government and people. I wish you good health and the best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Choi Byung-am, for the closing declaration. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a commemorative photo session for today's guests of honor. We kindly ask them to proceed onto the stairs in front of the podium to stand on in front of the podium for the group photo. Yes, for our guests of honor, please join us on the stage for a group photo. Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished guests, we would now like to invite our guests of honor up onto the stage for a group commemorative photo. Once again, please join us for the photo. Thank you very much. So we will take 2 rounds of the photo. First of all of the speakers of our sessions, we kindly ask you to join us up on stage. Once again, all of the speakers for the sessions, please join us up on stage for the group photo. Yes, please watch the cameras in front of you. We have quite many cameras today, so please smile for the cameras in front of you. I think that you will have to keep smiling as we have more than a dozen cameras taking your photos. Yes, please continue to smile for the cameras. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I believe all of the photos are taken. Shall we have the second round of the photo for the group photo? Thank you very much. Yes, we have a couple of cameramen with their hands up. Thank you. Please give them another big round of applause. Yes. And now we would like to invite our guests of honor, our Honorable Minister, as well as our distinguished guests and excellencies. Please join us up on stage for the commemorative photo. And for our guests who are joining us, it is finally time to bring today's ceremony as well as the 15th World Forestry Congress to a close. I would like to thank everyone once again for your participation in the Congress and everyone who has dedicated themselves to the World Forestry Congress here in Seoul. I do hope that you stay healthy and safe and that you return home safely until we are reunited once again at the 16th World Forestry Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, distinguished guests, with this, I bid you farewell. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you. Oh, yes. Shall I write it down for you?
I am a face of forestry.
I am a face of forestry.
I think
I'm a
it
face
should
of
be there,
forestry.
but it's,
I'm a face of forestry.
I am a face of forestry. I am a face of forestry.
I'm a face of forestry.
I am a face of forestry.
I am a face of forestry.
I am a face of forestry. I'm a face of forestry.
I am a face of forestry.
I'm a face of forestry.
I am a face of forestry. I am a face of forestry.